Foamstars. So what is Foamstars? Well, it's a vibe, it's a feeling, it's a mood, it's an experience. I mean, it's kind of all of those things, but actually it's a video game that came out in February the 6th to be specific. Came to PlayStation Plus, free on PlayStation Plus, as a lot of us have been pilled to say, even though you pay for PlayStation Plus. And if you don't have PlayStation Plus, it costs £25. And ever since it came out, I've just been sort of oddly fascinated by its progress, or perhaps lack thereof, you know? Like, I played Foamstars a fair bit when it first came out. At least once a night for a week I was on it. I managed to get a rank. I think I was bronze. I was headed for esports, like stardom. I was ready to put a payment down on a whacking big mansion. And then I just stopped playing. I let the dream die. That doesn't mean that I've ever lost my interest in the game. I just stopped playing it because there was a lot of things about it that we will get into that sort of obfuscated my enjoyment of the game. To me, like, Foamstars, it's the summation of epic miscalculation. I mean, in concept, it's like a smash hit, right? Splatoon, but not Nintendo. Like, you don't have to buy a Switch. You can play it right here on a PlayStation. It sells itself, essentially. Well, not entirely by itself. I mean, it does need a little bit of promotion, which it didn't get. I think it got like what? I think I remember seeing it on the front page of the PlayStation Store for maybe a day, maybe two, before it was like supplanted by something else, which is about as much promotion as it got. I don't remember it getting any fanfare, any sort of big ups from, you know, games media. It didn't pop off on Twitch or anything like that. It just arrived almost in a coffin. It was dead on arrival, is exactly what it was. It arrived with the coffin open just so people could look at it for a minute and then walk away in disgust. Firstly, it's free to play in every way but the price. Like, £25 for a game like this, absolutely extortionate. There's no like single player or anything like that. At least I don't think there is. Like, it mostly revolves around the online. And to charge £25 for a game in a climate where everything is free to play, everything that uses this model is free to play, is like absolute insanity. And then to add to that, you've got a battle pass in this, which probably costs like £10-15, I think. And then the skins, which very famously, cost more than the game. The skins on arrival cost like, I think it's like $45, which when I opened the game to do this video, they're actually slashing the prices of those back down to like $25 or something for a set of cosmetics, which is still too much, and you're doing it much too late. Like, I see it as cynical, bad faith kind of, I don't know, bullshittery, whatever you want to call it, company bullshittery. They perhaps knew that this game wasn't going to do anything, so they put it out there without telling anyone, without spending any money on promotion or anything like that, and decided, well, the few suckers that do buy into this, we're going to charge them out the arse for everything that's in this game. So we're going to set it at £25 to buy. We're going to make the skins like £40 a pop, so that those poor suckers that actually do try and get invested in this ecosystem are really being rinsed for as much money as possible, and at no real cost to us, because we're not going to pay for a promotion or anything like that to actually get this game out to more people. It is proper like, fuck you, pay me game development or game promotion and publishing is what it is. And you'll notice we haven't even spoken about the game yet, like the actual gameplay, how this game works. Like, this is all before we've even touched it. It's cursed before you've even laid hands on the way this thing is. So when you get into Foamstars, you hit this area, right, which which gives you this massive sort of cognitive dissonance, maybe that's the way of describing it, of like this area that you expect to be populated but isn't. So you load into this area, this Destiny style like tower would be the closest like analog that I could give you right now. It's it's not a social area. It looks like a social area where like people would spawn in and sort of spend time around each other and maybe show off emotes and stuff like that. That's what it looks like. But that's not what it is. It's a completely barren area that you yourself spawn into that allows you to go from like a shop to a customization area. There is like a DJ booth that's empty that you can pick music to play from. And then there's an upstairs area, which is maybe the only useful part of this entire like lobby, if you want to call it that, where you can sort of test out different characters and their abilities and whatnot, which is actually like quite useful, like this massive area for you to just mess around in with different characters. That part, that is the only part of this Love Island ass looking, I don't know, Ibiza in late 2000s lobby area that you log into. Like it looks like it's meant to be populated, but it isn't. I'm telling you it isn't. Because I played this game the night it came out, the first few days it came out. This area has never had people in it. It's always been empty. Like normally these areas are good from a marketing or like sales perspective, because it allows other players to sell the game to each other or sell like microtransactions to each other. Be like, hey, look at this emote. Hey, look, I've got this skin where, you know, this lady's ass is just popping right off. Or for donkey's years. Look at that dump truck, Jesus. All right, matchmaking fail. Here I am trying to look at some ass, and this game's like, no, you're not gonna get to play. And people are like, yeah, man, I want a piece of that. Like, like that is to me what social areas are meant to do, and just to make it feel integrated and involved, and you know, like other people exist in this ecosystem. But in this, it's just completely empty and completely barren. There's no one there, just you. You could hear a pin drop. You could literally hear a virtual pin drop. So we're like 0 for 2 so far, okay? The vibe check failed. The lobby system alienating. Now we want to find a game. So we open the city map, we hit versus. You hit the 3 core modes to Foamstars. So the first one is Smash the Star. It's almost like a team deathmatch. It's the most fun mode. Happy Path Survival is this like thing where half the team are on the outside of the match, they're spectating the other half, like actually playing the match. It's kind of shit. I don't like it at all. Then there's a ranked mode, which has all of the other modes, and that's it. I mean, 3 game modes. There's Private Party, which is like a custom match mode. But I don't consider, I feel like that's just a staple. If you're making a game like this, you have to have a private or a custom match mode. So I don't even count that. You're getting 3 modes for £25, which is arguably less modes than you get in most free-to-play games, in fact. So in terms of like a value proposition, bang for buck, whatever you want to call it, we are now adding that to the lobby thing and the vibe check. We are now 0 for 3 on Foamstars as a package. So surely all that is left at this point is to play the game. We should probably just try and play the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and find a game of this. I thought I'd queue for Smash the Star because it's like the first thing that they hit you with once you go into that versus menu. And surprisingly enough, it queued into a match within about a minute, just over a minute, and then we're in game. And honestly, this is probably the most tragic thing about Foamstars, is that once you are actually in the game and playing, and playing a mode that you like, it feels good. Like, it plays well. It's fun to play. All of the characters are pretty varied. They all have their own abilities and specials and ultimates and stuff like that. And the actual feel of the game moment to moment is snappy and fluid and smooth enough that you never sort of find yourself annoyed or frustrated by the way that the game controls. And then beyond that, there are inherent tactics to the way that you play each mode, and the way that certain classes synergize with each other, and the way that you sort of have to stay as a murder ball if you really want to get things done, because then you can bail each other out by stopping each other from being foam balled out of existence, which is their way of eliminating each other. It's just generally a really, I think, well put together game. There's not many other ways to put it. It just feels good to play in a way that certain other games haven't felt good. We've been through the roulette wheel of, was it Rumbleverse, which was good in its own right. What else has there been? Jesus. Knockout City was one with the dodgeball, which was interesting as well, but never really caught me. And there's one that has Rocket in it. It's not Rocket League, because that was actually successful. Was it Rocket Arena? Is that a real game, or did I just make that up? Rocket Arena, I believe, is a game that came out that also had its own weird little sort of tangential thing that was bringing to team-based PvP that was free to play. But I feel like this has something over all three of those games. This has a certain sort of feel and vibe to it when you're actually in the game, that is. Everything outside of the game, everything outside of this game is sort of poisonous to the very core of the game, which is good. Do you know what I mean? It's so strange. It's usually that everything would be bolted onto something that was already shit. But this is something that exists at the very core that is good and fun to play. That has had things bolted and built on top. That has ruined it. And to double down on the tragedy and kick a Foamstar when it's down, I tried loading into other modes. So Smash the Star was the one that I did that found the game relatively quickly. I tried Happy Bath Survival. It got to the limit of 5 minutes twice and told me, nah, no, we ain't doing this. Matchmaking failed. Try again after a little while. What's a little while? So this was the same for Ranked as well, which is the remaining mode. Tried to find games, hit the 5 minute marker. It says no. tells you to try again in a little while, which is the weirdest, most abstract thing to suggest. Try again in a little while. What's a little while gonna do? How long should I wait before I try again? It's just funny to me. So I couldn't find a game in Ranked, couldn't find Happy Bath Survival. Smash the Star is the only thing you can really play. I looked into this a little bit. I went to the unofficial Foamstars Reddit, because there's two. There's one that is r/Foamstars that is dead as dodos. And then there's another one that's unofficial. I think it's r/Play Foamstars. And the sentiment on that Reddit is, if you want to play the game and find people to play, you need to switch your server to Japan, which is interesting. Splatoon is huge in Japan, right? It's like a cultural phenomenon in Japan. I think that's the go-to shooter of choice, on console at least, is Splatoon in Japan. So it's not surprising to me that the place that Foamstars caught was Japan, but I'm curious if the way it caught was significant, or if it's just there's 10 people playing in Europe and there's 100 people playing in America, and then there's about 500 playing in Japan. Like, there's no real way of knowing how good or bad it is. So I may at some point in future try a Japanese server, but at the same time, you're making a lot of concessions on your internet and the way that the game plays and feels just to find a game of Foamstars. Because I think during my playtime, one of the games I found probably did just automatically shift me across to another server, because it started to play kind of like shit. And this game is such a reflexive and snappy game to play. It really does become evident and apparent when control is being slightly taken out of your hands with like latency and stuff like that. So as much as that could be a solution to switch to America or to Japan, where apparently everyone lives that's playing Foamstars, it's not a great one, is it? I really do think this game has something, and I've always thought this. I've always thought there is something to Foamstars. It's just constantly beating the shit out of itself and trying to stop itself being successful. It is its own worst enemy in so many ways. And if they could just see some sense, here's some quick solutions. Free to play, fucking the most brain dead easy solution in the world. This game should be free to play. Secondly, if they put this game on PC, this could have a real sort of second wind effect for this game. Like, I think Western audiences, if this was like on Steam or something and it was just easily downloadable, I think it could have a bit of a run. It's never going to be as big as anything like Fortnite or Apex or anything. Like, these juggernaut games just live and exist and absorb energy from everything else. So you're never going to have that. But if you can carve out a niche, I mean, they've already carved out a niche, a very, very tiny one, but if they could grow that niche with a PC audience that doesn't have to pay for this game, then they could survive. Now, this is Square Enix, and if anyone knows the history of Square Enix, they know that they have a level of success and an expectation of success that is psychotic. Like, it's beyond what human beings should consider to be successful and worth investing in. So that is a worrying thing. Because of that, I wonder if this will ever get the opportunity to try and grow and to try and sprout out into different avenues and different places. And that's kind of sad if it doesn't. Because Foamstars is one of the most uniquely interesting. I know uniquely interesting is a funny way of putting it, since it's an also-ran of Splatoon, but it is doing something that is genuinely fun to play. And that I would love if more people tried. But even me, like, I would love this if it was on PC. It's on PlayStation 5 and I have a PS5 and that's how I've been playing it, obviously. But if this was on PC, this could be a go-to game for me and friends and stuff. Like, I could rope people in to play this game pretty easily, you know. It's fun enough in its own right to be able to do that. But in the meantime, until that happens, it is just sadly just withering away. It's the I don't feel so good meme from 1,000 years ago, but in this situation it's the Foamstars logo. Just alright, I refuse to end this video on such a dour note. If there is one positive aspect to this, it's that version 5 of this game is due in like a week or two, which sounds like a big number. I don't know how many incremental versions they go up. Maybe every season it's a new version, and maybe that actually means nothing. But potentially version 5, maybe they'll make some big changes. I mean, they are cutting the prices of stuff in the store by half for version 5, which means nothing to anyone, but it at least shows some sort of self-awareness, I guess. Maybe that will be one of many self-aware changes that they make. And maybe some of the suggestions that I've made in this video actually see some sort of implementation. Not because I said them. I mean, they probably did them a million years ago. I'm not going to take credit for this. But they're just the obvious changes, aren't they? And hopefully some of them are made. And if this does come to PC, fucking giddy up, guys. Cowabunga, yeah, I don't know what people who surf on foam say. Radical. Fuck it. Comment, like, subscribe. Comment if you play Foamstars. If you're a part of an active community on Foamstars. Or have anything to say about Foamstars. Like, I would be genuinely curious to know how people feel about Foamstars, who play Foamstars. So if you're out there, talk to me. You can also find me on social media, unfortunately, around here. And I'll see you some other time, you know? Bye.